Today's stream, I decided just to kind of be relaxed and tell a couple stories. They are a little bit tech related, but I just figured just be kind of relaxed. This morning I had 2 cups of coffee, so I'm kind of ready to go for the day. But I like looking on YouTube or Twitter and checking all my social media stuff, and I have Dystopia for Reddit on my phone, so it's a pretty simple interface that I've talked about in a couple of videos maybe before. Um, and just whatever I just open and like look at. But I like on Twitter that a lot of the followers that I have and they follow me back and everything are visually impaired and blind um, Twitter accounts, and it's just fun because sometimes we tweet about experiences that we can relate to each other, and it's like when you're talking with friends and family that are not blind or visually impaired, you can share your experiences with them, but it's a little bit different because um, they're not on a regular basis dealing with life and things the way we do. So it's like they relate and they can laugh and joke around or be serious about it or whatever. But like it's just different when it's relatable and that kind of thing. So things like going to the store and or like a coffee shop or something, and you might be with another person who is not blind or visually impaired, and the person at the counter might ask them what you want instead of you, so it's like trying to help people understand that they can um, talk to us, that we're approachable, and and I know there are times when I get uh, someone and they're talking to me, and I don't know that they're talking to me, and I'm like, well, maybe they're talking to the person with me or something. So I will say like, "Are you talking to me?" And then they'll be like, "Oh yeah," if they ask how I'm doing or something, and then I'll apologize and then reply, like I'm doing fine or whatever, and how are you? And so it's just, I guess, because I'm used to that, like people talking to the other person instead of me when they can talk to me. But that was one thing I noticed today on Twitter. I was thinking about, and I enjoy even if it's just a general question that they throw out to the fellow Twitter um, peeps that they have, like to get feedback, like what are some of your favorite foods, um, that you could eat every day that you don't get sick of and stuff. And I like answering stuff like that, and I put like cream of wheat, like I love oatmeal based stuff sometimes. I would never get sick of that. Or grape leaves are good. I put that because we had those yesterday. They're super good. Um, and so it's just fun to answer those kind of stuff, or like if it's a music question or um, like a book or something. I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff. But anyways, that's just nice to have that. Sorry. So um, my first story that I wanted to talk about today, which is really cool, is how I got my first AirPods. Um, my first AirPods were not a purchase that I made of my own, but rather a Christmas gift. And Christmas is just around the corner and it's 10 days away, and I that was brought to my attention. My boyfriend was like, Christmas is next week." And I'm like, "Get out of here. That is insane. Like what happened?" Um yeah, this crazy year we've had. So my first AirPods 2s that I got, um it's kind of a story that's, I don't know, it touches my heart when I think about it and stuff, where this man who was a patient at a place that one of my family members worked at saw me, and I had come in a few times, and so it's a small town too, so it's like people get to know each other a little bit more and stuff, and friendly and that kind of stuff. But I guess he had been giving to blind charities for a long time, and he found out that not all the money goes to the charity, and it tends to be a thing sometimes, sadly, with charities. If you Google stuff and like find out info, and so he learned that, and it made him sad, so he stopped kind of supporting some of the charities that he might have been supporting. But so then he asked my family member, was it okay, because we're a close family, that he could send me like Christmas cards or a birthday card sometimes, as a just a kindness, because he felt like at least every cent would be going to someone that's blind. And like it just touched me like a total stranger, like, you know, uh, him and his wife, that they would be kind and think of other people that they don't even know. And sometimes, it's just, there are charities out there for all kinds of things, and hopefully they help out, but sometimes stuff doesn't always work out that way. So that's kind of how it went. And then every Christmas or birthday, I would get a card from them, and it was just uh, touching, and it made me feel a little bit like, it's hard to describe it, but just to think that somebody else thought of you and remember stuff, and like, you know, um, so I was super overwhelmed to know that I got AirPods from them last year for Christmas. Like, wow, that's like kind of a more pricey gift. And it's like, you don't know me, but they, um, you know, they learned of my like own and everything. So I remember the months leading up, like when I found out, like, that it's very possible I could get this like Christmas wish kind of thing. I was excited about it, like getting AirPods, like I always had like the earbuds that came with the phone, and those are super nice because then you can plug them in. And but so I would just imagine in my head, like, what do AirPods look like, and like how exactly do they go inside of a case? And I was like reading about the case and like how it works with the AirPods inside, and they charge and everything, so then you have extended battery life, opposed to just plugging it in the charger all the time. Then and there's no cord, like, to me, that's crazy. And I remember months after having the AirPods, I was still looking for a cord, and I would, like, walk around the house, and I could go, like, really far away from my phone, and they would still connect, and it was just crazy. But so then I got them, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is way cool." They just pop them in your ears, and, like, you got, audio already and stuff. Um, and, like, you can either set them up where your left or right ear, you can double tap on either, AirPod, and you can, like, switch back and forth with the track, or you can, have it where "Hey Siri" is, double tap on the AirPod, and you can summon Siri, or you can just say, "Hey Siri." Oh, oop. Sorry, I just might have triggered someone's stuff, but mine didn't trigger. Or you can, pause the song or whatever you're listening to also if you want, but I
Got it.
just
No problem.
I have left and right air, for song going back and forth, like, those are my 2 options I have, right now for to go back and forward a track. So it's nice. And I remember also, like, just getting the audio was super, night like, listening to a movie or a show or something and hearing, like, the notes and hearing them, um, like, the lower, like, it's got they have good bass in them and stuff, and I was, like, hearing, like, the surround sound, um, through them and everything. So it was just, like, super nice, and I use them quite a bit. And so, yeah, that's kinda like my first story. Just kind of like a magical experience for me, uh, to have them, and I appreciate them, and it has a special meaning besides just having a pair of AirPods, because it was from a kindness of a stranger, and, like, just it just feels, warm and stuff for that kind of stuff. Sorry, that was a and so my other story kind of pertains to um like I saw somewhere on Dystopia for Reddit yesterday. Like people post if they have questions a lot. And someone posted about their brother, and I didn't know like the extent of the brother's condition, and there are blind and visually impaired people of with different conditions. Like you can start um to lose sight, or you can all of a sudden just lose all of your sight, or always be blind like your whole life, or have some sight loss, and there's all kinds of degrees. So I don't know his condition. And then there are people who maybe they've not had any phones with a touch screen before, or maybe they're just new to an iPhone because they didn't, or if you switch and get an Android or something. I know I've tried to use an Android. I That was my first iPhone, or first phone with a touchscreen was an Android, and I don't know why, but I was pretty good with it back then, but now when I try to try going through and using the accessibility settings, I have issues with it, and I've tried a couple times. I don't know. I need some help with it, but for some reason, I got used to the iPhone when I got one for the first time, really easily. So I don't know. I guess just it depends on what works for people, maybe. So in this particular case, the person just got an iPhone and they are still trying to learn the accessibility features. So his brother, who is sighted, decided to try and help him because he's really frustrated. And I know I get frustrated very easily with stuff sometimes. I used to have a lot more patience, but not as much now. But I get frustrated, so I have to take a break, or but so he reached out and asked if there was any tips that he could learn um, to help him with the accessibility and help his brother and everything. And so I ended up trying to answer as best I could. But um, but I guess my story is like my boyfriend showed me how to use Braille screen input um, maybe 2 years ago now. It's like, wow, when was that? But when he first told me about the feature, I immediately kind of freaked out, and I was like, well, because I didn't understand the calibration, so I thought that like it was gonna change so much of my phone interface and like how I use it every day. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that. And I panicked, and I'm like, this is gonna be hard. And then like I don't know, maybe a month and a half went by, and then I thought about it, and I was like, hey, you know that feature that you were telling me about and that kind of thing? Um, can we learn it? So he went through and helped me set it up and understand how you enable it and everything. Which you go to your settings, and then you go to accessibility, and then you go to voiceover, and then you first go down to Braille and enable Braille screen input in 6 dot Braille. Um, and then from there, you go down to your rotor, and then you select Braille screen input in your rotor. And then when you use your rotor, which you take 2 fingers and you turn to the right, um, and that starts your rotor. It's like a twist motion a little bit, like turning like a I don't know, like I heard a tube of toothpaste when you put the lid on and you turn it. So it's just I use my thumb and my pointer finger, and I turn, and that starts the rotor. And then your Braille screen input would be right there, and then you just turn your phone with the screen facing away from you, or you can do tabletop mode, but with your phone and your iPad, you can use tabletop mode too, where you lay it flat, and then you put your 6 fingers on um, the screen and type with Braille. But when I learned it, it just totally changed like everything for me. Like text became super fast to create or a post somewhere or an email. Like everything was way faster for those that know Braille. But so just don't give up. Like if you're trying to learn an iPhone or Android or whatever phone you're comfortable with or whatever with your accessibility settings, whatever they are, because like once you learn them and you get used to them, and nothing is overnight. You have to practice, to get good at stuff. It's worth it. It's worth like you get frustrated sometimes, maybe take a break and try to pick it up again, but once you figure out what works for you, then just keep, you'll get there. And I know that some people are to the very first, like I barely even know how to turn the phone on, and I know it from like trying to figure out Android. Like for me, it's like I'm telling myself like I'll have to pick it up and try it again someday. Maybe I can figure it out. But once you figure it, you have to figure out what's works best for you, what screen reader or whatever the settings are. Um, that you're trying to enable and use and stuff. Um, Maybe it's like a magnification or magnifier feature to make things larger so you can see them, or maybe it's something with hearing and you're trying to use something to help you hear better. Um, Hearing aids or AirPods have some hearing capabilities to help people who are hard of hearing. But you'll get there either way. So, and there's still things I'm learning with my phone currently that I'm like, oh, this setting and stuff. So, um, but that was my two stories that I was really wanting to talk about today. But trying to think what else was I going to say. Um, I guess with my first pair of AirPods, AirPods 2, I do remember the first show I tried to watch well, I didn't try, I like watched it, but like I was halfway through the show You, and it's on Netflix, and it's a series that is, it's kind of like a dramatic, like thriller type of psychological sort of thing, but it's like, I remember like it was just like I went from just using my phone to watch it like by myself because my boyfriend and I watch a lot of shows together, but then sometimes we watch different shows like, you know, separately or whatever. But it was just like then having AirPods, like it just put more of like a theater kind of feel to it. So it was just nice to have that. And then I remember later when I was watching Lock and Key on Netflix, that's also a really good Netflix show too. I'm sure everyone streamed like everything on all the streaming platforms because of COVID. Like there's lots of indoor like watching everything under the sun probably, but shows, movies, and everything. I really like that series though, and I remember that's when I figured out how far of the range the AirPods would go because I could walk like down a basement, the basement, and the phone's all the way upstairs. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. It goes really far and it doesn't cut out on me. So, but yeah, that's kind of that. And like I said, I had 2 cups of coffee this morning. I know I'm all over the place, but it's a relaxed stream. So, um, and I know, I mean, there's coffee fans galore. Like everybody loves coffee. Like, well, some people don't, and some people like just the smell of coffee, which, I mean, it's a good smell. I love it. But um, yeah, so my preference is coffee from home, and I like putting creamer in it. My boyfriend helps me make sure there's always creamer in the house. I have like French vanilla is one of my favorites, or hazelnut. That's my go-to hazelnut, or and I like branching out once in a while and trying like a chocolate something. But I'm more of like the creamer. And then once in a while, it's nice to have like the flavored coffees, like caramel or, different ones because then they smell really good. Or it's just nice to have that. But yeah, I love coffee. It's one of my favorite drink things. And it's nice because even if you want some coffee later on in the day, but you don't want all the caffeine, then you can I have, some hazelnut, like, decaf coffee, so once in a while I'll do that. Um, but, yeah, so, um, what else? That might be it, eh, just heard a cat bell. We have, our 2 cats. Our one is named Cody, and he is a year old. He's just over a year old, and then we have Kitty, who is 10 according to his records that I have. And I got Kitty, I got Kitty when he was, like 4 or 5, I wanna say, but I've, oh, here goes a kitty. I got him, from a family that was looking to rehome their cat, and I heard about him from my one of my good friends that was their